Hello, hello, hello. Let me put some music until we gather, and we are going to start shortly. Let's start. Hi guys, hopefully everybody's having a great Catter Day. Thanks Crystal for making it a Catter Day. Let's call it that way from now on. You inspired me to change the text on my intro from hello, so thank you so much for the reminder. It's always nice to have like amazing moderators. So guys, last time I had a really extensive reading, so for this weekly, and I just started with Leo for the if Eric's coming back, and I really have to say I don't have a good excuse other than, hey, it was such a beautiful weather outside and I was so deprived, so I spent lots of time outside, so I even didn't do the readings and I just like took a couple of days off for me. And I will have to do some work because looks like we are finally getting in the beautiful weather. Yesterday was like, ooh, I don't like that, Barb, but like we'll send you some of this. Yesterday was like possibly the best weather day I experienced in my life, and everybody commented on it. I'll probably post later on the Facebook pictures. It almost looked like surreal. It looked like you're watching one of those movies when they kind of like jack up the colors to make you like really enjoy it, and it was really amazing. So just came back from the walk with Tiger, and he's starting to learn how to play with frisbee, and I'm trying to really make him not to like toys so much and kind of like socialize with dogs, but that also has a downfall because you always have to have another dog to socialize with, plus diseases that they get, whole bunch of stuff, coughing, and well, it's just like kindergarten, right, versus playing with them at home. So I am not great that you guys have a cold weather, but you know what? This is what I'm going to do from now on. If you have a lousy weather, and then I'm going to have a longer reading. If we have a great weather like today, we are going to have shorter reading. Another thing that I'm going to change, just you guys who are here, because you are here, your energy is here, and all of you who are listening, even though are not communicating, you guys are going to get the questions. They're like really applicable to you. I would not say so much to the others. I mean, they can play the game, but this is really your energy because I really want to reward you. I don't know if you guys remember when I started this channel about 2 years ago. I was doing this, like who's the first, second, and third, and you guys are getting your readings first. I'm going to go back to that because I want to honor people who are honoring me. And I feel a little bit bad, that's a Libra in me, that, hey, you know, some other people are going to be lost. And, you know, you were maybe that sign who, I don't know which sign, Libra actually, doesn't like me very much. And maybe you clicked and everything said, oh no. It's just like it's basically to get other people to kind of like stop sitting on their, like, you know, uh, um, hands and kind of like do something. Happy summer. Oh my gosh, summer, summer, summer. I'm doing lots of my shamanic exercises, like this guy, Alberto Viedo, and oh my gosh, I'm not pronouncing that properly. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me. Who took me under his wing. He gave me like I think 65 homeworks in order to do, because this was like such a kind of like short span of working with him. I'm taking these supplements, which is for liver cleanse. And I have to say that initially I didn't feel any difference until yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I woke up and my skin was moist. You have to understand I'm in mid-40s, right? And my skin was already dry and I had lots of issues with that, and all of a sudden it was like moist and beautiful and shiny. I said, whoa, look at that, out of nowhere. You're a shaman. Oh my gosh, Marianne. Like, I mean, we need to connect. I'm just learning. I cannot say that I'm a shaman at all, but I'm just trying to work with this. So I did yesterday a little kind of like an altar to celebrate summer, and I kind of like felt bad because I had to pluck the flower to kind of do the altar. So it kind of like felt really weird, but we'll see. So, these readings I'm going to do in order because it's just easier for people who are like seeking for their sign. Otherwise people just get really annoyed. And we can start with Cancer. I think it is a cusp, it's a Cappy, it's a Cancer birthday, so happy birthday, Cancer. Sitting on a biscuit. Barbie, you crack me up all the time. Hi Silly Jane, you made it. This is so nice, so nice. So yeah, you know, like I mean, I am so impressed and I'm so honored that shamans are over here, because I consider that the highest order, and I consider that like, oh my God, connecting with nature. Do you know how hard it is to be a shaman? You really pay for smallest thing that you do wrong. Almost like you have to be totally in touch with other people and with the nature. So it's really beautiful. So I'm really trying to purify myself even more. It kind of like, it's really hard when it's really much easier to say F you, but then you have to bite your tongue, and not only bite your tongue but like change your thoughts. So I was doing yesterday, homework was remove the curses, remove soul entities. It was kind of like weird, but geesh, that was like a long session. So I felt much lighter after that. So let's see how it goes. So happy birthday, Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. I'm doing this psychic tarot for the soul, I believe it's called, and I have the second part, which is called heart psychic tarot or something like that. Don't even quote me on this one. I love these messages and love these decks. I think they're more oracle decks than tarot decks. So I'm going to do sign by sign, and as I said, only people who are here and who are listening will be getting advantage of getting their answers, and I might do more than one session, like, you know, when I put this like 3 cards down, door number 1 or number 2, number 3, and so you pick the answer. So you might have like even 2 or 3. We will see how we feel today. So let's start. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. See, Silly Jen, that's what I'm getting as well. I'm eating much better than I did before. So we have transformation, Cancer. We have disconnect and boredom, and we have fertility. This is the energy of 11, guys, and it is really talking about some kind of like illumination. I really like that. And somebody's going to tell me, Kat, this is again looking sideways. So let's do this exercise and try to, ooh, look at that. Like magic worked. I just like did one touch and it's kind of like lined up. That's absolutely, I'm so impressed with myself. So transformation, look at how a beautiful card is over here in this deck. This is really talking about that you're essentially thinking about everything. You're thinking, and Cancer over here, by the way, like you guys have to look at the moon, as Sally is pointing out. You have to look at the sun, Ascendant, and Venus. These are really kind of like core planets, sometimes Mercury as well. But it's not so much important to look at Mercury if you're looking for a love reading or general reading. So I'm going to try to cover both in these weeklies. Transformation card is a death card in the other deck. And it's kind of like a positive card because, and I know that people are seeing that usually in the traditional decks. And that's why I like how she's becoming a butterfly. And honestly, she to me looks like Barbie over here, and like that's kind of like how I imagine you, Barbie. I don't know, like, I mean, hopefully you don't mind. Like that's kind of, you know, I get your auras. I don't really have to see people, and that's all kind of like that matters to me. So this card is generally talking about that maybe, and because summer solstice was also coupled with full moon in Sagittarius. And even if you think about summer solstice in essence, it's almost like a full moon kind of like event because sun is the highest in the sky. And I don't know how much you know, these guys in Australia, they have a lower sun in the sky. So if they live on the west side or south side, they get more sun in their place, versus the rest of us kind of like have more shade. And so now at this point, the sun will start consistently going down until December 21st, when it's going to be winter solstice and it's going to be at its lowest point. And so also is the furthest away from the planet, and this is why we have winter, right? This card over here, it's very similar to this, and I really think, even though you guys are more or less connected with the moon, but moon rotates around Earth, which rotates around the sun. Here, like really talking about some issues that you're willing to put to rest. You kind of like had enough of that because if you really think about it, that you must shed something old, and this is really hard for you. You guys like to collect memories, you like to collect events, but here this is saying, look, you need to break old habits and release anything that is hindering you, and then you will be able to kind of fill this cup and make this room for something greater. So even though this can mean endings, these are endings that are heralding new beginnings, and it's clearly that kind of change. And it's kind of like really weird for me because I know this card means change, and yet is a card number 4, which kind of connects to the Emperor, which connects to that firm attitude. But I really think the firmness over here is that you're overcoming resistance, you are overcoming stagnation, and you know, maybe you have been obsessive about something in the past, but no longer that you feel this way. And then we have this dude over here who like has such a beautiful summer outside, but nope, he's like looking deep and down into himself, a little bit possibly being confused about where to go forward, right? So this is literally to me, stop and smell the roses, right? And so maybe in order to accomplish this, is going to be some kind of like retreat or meditation that you're going to go toward, right? There is like discontentment, and you are going to possibly process this on the inside, right? Just make sure you're not going into apathy. So it's always good to remind yourself, you know, hey, you know, I need to change my things. This is exactly what it is talking about. If you find, for example, for me, I was not a morning type. I'm still not a morning type. But I'm making a point, before I would really have to have my coffee and stuff before I got going. But now I'm actually making a point that I take this coffee out with me and I walk tiger first thing in the morning. So this is kind of changing my rhythm and kind of like setting the stage nicely because you catch this morning sun. So something like that might actually be happening in the shift this week for you, because you're like that summer baby, right? The ultimate summer baby. Like, I mean, here in North America, we're going to have a whole bunch of celebrations. 1st of July, how many people you know what kind of holiday is 1st of July in Canada? Let's see. How many of you know? Because we know the 4th of July. Everybody knows 4th of July. Fireworks, excitement, great. But 1st of July is Canada Day, and this is pretty much the only holiday we have, whatever it falls. And I don't know, I think this time it falls on the 1st, so we kind of like have a long weekend as a result. Because we have a solution here, like it's Venus. The Empress represents Venus, like, right? So this is the manifestation of the gentle force of the mother reconnecting with this natural world. Honestly, I really feel this is saying to me to tell you this is nothing is saying to me, just like I'm connecting the dots. And you guys need to kind of like find what gives you pleasure, because something so far, maybe you felt you're stuck in the rut, maybe you felt maybe you're feeling like, oh my gosh, this is not going anywhere, how much longer I have to go through it. So this is going to be a big shift in thinking. I absolutely love this card. Look at how lovely this is. Like, actually her hair is a tree and it's kind of like growing in a really, really lovely way. So it's also affecting your heart chakra. So it is very important over here that you maybe spend time outside, that you spend time meditating, and whenever you catch yourself in any kind of like boredom, that you change whatever you're doing and shift yourself in a different direction and do something that you otherwise wouldn't do. You had that Canada Day. So I really like Canada Day as a celebration, I really have to say. So, okay. So the next one is Leo. Leo, guys, I'm so grateful. You guys were just amazing to me lately. I had so many clicks from Leo. And even now with releasing X's. And today I'm going to try to do at least few of X's series. And again, in order of how many clicks we had. So Leo, we have shadow. We have emotional withdrawal. Pfft, like, what the heck is going on, Leo, here? From interesting ooh, there it is. Ah, okay. Everything is like back in order in the universe. Look at that. Isn't this amazing? You're going from 18 to 19. You're going from shadow to light. I mean, I can just stop here. I really can fill in the words over here. But there is like the essence of it. So there is like a part of you guys that you maybe identify with, and you no longer identify with it. Look at the two of them. Like, it's the same person looking, you know, they're looking at each other, and you're looking possibly or thinking about the past things, maybe things that emotionally have been, you know, draining to you, or maybe something. See, like, he has this hand, and sometimes it's really important in these cards to look at the details, look at the circle, look at his hand over here. And this guy's saying, you know what, I'll take it. I'm good with this. Because if you think about it, this guy didn't have a balance. This was like not a way to hold to this kind of thing. So this is like a main procession. You have, and if you can see, this is the darkness and this is the light. And this is like even more so kind of like showing up. I totally, whenever I see, and actually there is another client of mine who is here online, Sally Jimenez. This is how I see you, Sally, like this lady over here, sparkly, enjoyable, somebody who is like always positive and thriving on. It's kind of like typical Leo. And also have a client of mine who kind of like has a similar energy, who is also Leo. So there is like something over here that possibly, because look at this blue kind of line over here. It's almost like it is coming from the shadow, like the shadow has been casted. Have you guys been dealing with some kind of like emotional things? Maybe you have been affected by someone, because this card also can talk about jealousy. This card can talk about what is going behind. It's not a really good card to get, especially not in a love reading. It does talk about psychic possibilities. It kind of like links to that transformational quality, right? To the moon energy. So this is the moon, this is the sun, right? Moon is transformational, right? It's kind of like some kind of metamorphosis that is happening, something that emotional. You see how I was talking for Cancer of being stuck? Well, you are not so much stuck. You're going through the process already, but you need to identify the places where you don't want to go. And I think that's when I'm coaching. This is one of the matters that, you know, people sometimes go back to the old partners over and over again because they always engage them with this light side. And of course, we all want to kind of look to the light and we forget the darkness, but the darkness we need to clear in order to move. And we need to absorb these lessons. There has been something emotionally draining for you, and you almost like feel that something you have been going through, or even possible that your life to some extent was an illusion, and you need to purge any negativity that you may have absorbed over time and tap into your awareness and look for the answers, right? Because this is really talking about as I said, even though it can be intuition, it also can be subconscious. It can be fear, right? I don't know if anybody here is dealing with Pisces. That can also indicate that. Because your card is coming through here after this emotional withdrawal. And honestly, this is not a bad thing at times. To kind of like really see what is the best for you and which direction to go. Whether you are with someone or not, you have to ask yourself these questions. Am I here for a reason? Will I be here if I'm the prettiest person in the world and if I have all the money in the world? These are like really clear answers coming with these two questions. So this card is about confidence. This card is about awakening. This card is about time to kind of like embrace joy. Joy, guys, this is the name of your reading, right? So positivity and success and optimism. And when was the last time that you felt that way? It's kind of like about some kind of exuberance. It's about things that can actually go and take you in a really, really good direction. So another thing is here that some of you might be dealing with scorpionic energy, I believe. And it is kind of like more or less a Pluto energy where it really talks about leaving one segment in the past and moving into kind of like a new, kind of like almost renaissance. But it didn't come without cost. It looks like has been lots of dealing with the past issues in order to reach some essence and to reach some kind of clarity, right? Okay, that's Leo, but you're coming in the light, so I'm not really afraid for you. Let's see. Let's catch up with a thing. Barb, I like your new icons. I didn't ever see this icon. You're the queen of icons. I really have to give it to you. I'm such a baby when it comes to icons. I have no freaking ideas how to use them. I'm really trying. Okay. Oh, fall is magical here, Andy. Oh yeah, like you're in Canada as well. So, of course, Canadians and me, and we have amazing fall. Okay, so let's see. We are going into Virgo, right? Virgo. Hi, Purple Side Kitty. Virgo, 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 Virgo. Where is my buddy? Oh, he's sleeping. He's still a baby. Someone wants to go. Ooh, fertility. Virgo. Ooh, deception and envy. And trapped in fear. It almost sounds to me, guys, that you are really trying to get ahead with something, but you're hitting the wall. And this card, I mean, this is clearly a card where your intentions are lying. And it's kind of like this feeling. You see, for Virgos, it's a different way of processing world. And let's say it would be for Aquarius. Do we have any Virgo over here? It is, and I have quite a bit of Virgo in me, luckily. Otherwise, I would just be a floating astrological kind of thing. Virgo is really needing to connect with wisdom. And how they go about their wisdom, they go about it in a very pragmatic way, right? It's like, okay, I am not going to muse about, you know, being a spiritual being until I have, let's say, food to put on the table. So that's why we sometimes experience earth signs and being highly materialistic, because they're still working on this like bottom Maslow chakras, right? It's like put a bread on the table, then procreate, have children, kind of like have your generational kind of shifts, and then building the confidence. However, this is here getting you to the next kind of like stage where your heart chakra is getting affected, right? So it is kind of like advising you that this is kind of like time for kind of like looking into what your true heart desire is. Never mind all these essentials that maybe looks like so far you either got or maybe are not as important in this point, right? So, you know, you do have that internal knowledge that you have them all inside, which is kind of like really interesting. But it looks like it's a possibility for you that somebody is taking you off the course if you are possibly dealing with a third party situation, or somebody really affecting your relationship. It kind of like really comes through over here. You also have this energy of 11, which is asking and telling that this is kind of like getting in a little bit higher sphere. You really need to when I say higher sphere, it means you just cannot really look into that selfishly. What is in here for me? It's going to be a much bigger thing. Interestingly, it's also 11 underneath here as well. But it's dropped in fear. It's to me telling me that, look, actually these things are pretty big. You can really get out of here if you want to. So there is like something that is keeping you stuck in a situation. It's almost like you know what you need to do, but you are not going toward that. You need to ask yourself, why is that? Because this deception and envy is like one most disliked card in the deck, right? But look at him, he's taking this mask off. So you're finally seeing this is not some spectacular kind of like winged human being. This is just another ordinary person. So maybe you're like removing your, like, I mean, what do you call it, pink glasses, pink color glasses, and you're possibly looking into things in a very kind of like shrewd way, where you're kind of like seeing the person for who they are. Maybe you're expecting that somebody's going to say, hey, you know what, it is time to move forward, but they didn't. So it could be that you feel betrayed. It could be that, you know, somebody's just becoming an escape artist. This can actually talk about irresponsibility, and this probably would be a big trigger for you, that maybe you want to be with someone who is just, you know, throwing a Houdini at you kind of a thing. Maybe you want to get somewhere, but you're feeling this blockage. So it's going to be a week which you'll have to reassess, mostly internally, because this is where you guys thrive, if the situation is the best for you to proceed. Because if the answer comes as no, then you will have to really act on it, because I really feel that if you're asking about one particular person, then this person is not the best person for you, and you'll come to that realization. And the person is probably not best for you because there is like interference. It could be ex-wife, it could be a mother, it could be sister. You know, maybe you don't fit into this person's lifestyle, or maybe this person's lifestyle doesn't really fit in yours, and you really try to see and work on it, but ultimately it just like you didn't get anywhere. So okay, so let's go with the first round of questions. Rose-colored glasses, that's why it is rose-colored. Thanks, Barbie. So Virgo and Aquarius rising. Wow, knitting yogi. This is like really interesting mix, because I don't know if you knew that, but both Virgo and Aquarius are represented in the card of Hermit. They just kind of like look at these things just in a tiny different, in a different perspective, but it's kind of like both, and not many people know that. So it's pretty cool. Special K. Wow, I used to like Special K. Now I'm on this cleanse. I'm not supposed to eat sugar. It's actually rather basic, but it really covers a lot. I have to eat a lot. I have lots of kale in the fridge, but I have to get the juicer out, and I don't feel like digging through my cabinets to get to it. So I better do that before that kale dies. So I should probably eat kale twice a day for my liver cleanse. and I cannot eat cereal or sugar or pasta or even grains other than quinoa. So I'll be eating quinoa today, and I find quinoa is so weird to eat with a whole bunch of these little thin balls. It's just weird. So guys, ask yourself a question. I'm going to draw 3 cards off the camera, so just in case they fall out, and then we're going to come with the answer. Okay. Oh, that's special case, somebody's name. Oh, I just got it, Andy. I just got it. Like you see, I'm not the brightest person in the world. So, is this Virgo guy for me? Virgo guy is thinking either that he's not going to change according to this reading, or that you're not going to change. So he's looking in a very shrewd way, and you have to ask yourself if this is what you want. But then again, we are going to get to Capri reading soon. Yes, yes, yes. You're like me. I just have to bend down and get it, but it takes like so many things that I have to take out, and then turn it back. It's like, never mind. I'll skip it. Or maybe just cook kale instead. So what do we have here? Oops, you've seen this card, so I cannot use them now. I'll put them back. So let's see. Door number 1. Door number 1. Door number 2. And door number 3. And door number 3, guys, please like it, invite others if you can on your Facebook, etc. It will be cool to have kind of like new people here, just see what kind of energy they bring. So door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. So if you ask a question, more or less yes or no. Ooh, Andy, I just had egg sunny side up, and I put a little bit of a goat cheese on top of it, and it was really, really cool. Now, number 1, you're getting a third eye chakra as an answer. This is really interesting because this is talking about vision, and it's telling you that the answer is within you, and it is the answer is receiving that violet infusion. This is a really high energy. This is the one right below the white light, which is the highest energy, right? The third eye chakra is really talking about figuring out where you want to go, and then asking yourself the question you asked, and if the answer is yeah, that will be best for you, but literally you have to ask yourself almost as if you were God. And if it isn't the best for you, it's not going to go that way, but it's going to be your decision. So really hope this helps. Oh, Marianne, at least you guys, you can kind of like cook and listen. So I had to walk Tiger, and I had to come back and eat something, and he helped me with eggs, and I also cut a little bit of apricot on my plate, and I also bought some eggplants and oyster sauce from a Chinese place that I kind of like had served on the side. So that was my breakfast. So the door number 2, you have just breathe. Just breathe. You guys are not ready for this to come through yet. And there is like the essence over here saying, look, this is going to be a time that possibly you ask if somebody's going to call, if somebody's going to approach you, and the answer most likely is no. But at the same time, the answer is this person is thinking about you. There is like something that is forming in the background, but it's going to take place for it to fully form. So it just, you need to kind of like give yourself time. You need to also connect with it. Not kind of like, please, please, please call me. Not in that way. But sort of like connect with your higher self. So you can just really lie down and just say, higher self, please come to me. And then you can have conversation. And initially it's going to feel silly. You're going to feel that you are inventing this, but you're going to soon realize, no, you're really connecting. So just make sure that your phone is turned off and that you are just really in peace dealing with yourself. And the door number 3 is daydreams and decisions. And this is interesting because these are really big dreams, but look at this person doesn't really exist. Are you looking for a soulmate that is really good on the paper, but it cannot exist. So you're looking for somebody who is 6 feet tall, who is athletic, who is rich, who puts the lid down on a toilet bowl, who cooks, who is always saying nice things. Okay, so this person doesn't exist, right? So you need to kind of come back and revisit your question and kind of like formulate it differently, because this is definitely a positive card, but things will shape in a completely different way than from what you envision. So that's how it's going to go. Okay, there you go. Andy, I'm coming to visit. Like, I am so envious. I love these old character homes too. And I start to love them out of necessity, but then I start to really, really love them. Door number 4 doesn't exist. Okay, so where did we stop? We stopped on Libra. Okay, Libra is my ascendant. Barbie's Libra. Any other Libras over here? Ooh. Emotional withdrawal. Patience and planning. Oh my gosh, Libra, you're gaining a master reading. Look at this. Power, destiny, and hope reversed. I'm just going to show you these 2 cards. Look at this power card. You know, are you fierce when you need to be fierce? Or are you just caving in when, you know, poo hits the fan, kind of a thing, right? This card to me is also a card about commitment. There is an issue with this. There is issue because this is the karma card. You can see this beautiful flower of life here, that maybe you're feeling that absolutely there is no hope about something, and that's why you're getting the suffering in silence card as well. This is extremely strong reading. This really goes back to how you envisioned yourself and where did you really want to go. It is just, there is like some repetition. For example, we have 8 repeating over here, right? So which is making it very, very strong. But then we have the 9, suffering in silence. I actually don't mind this card at all, because suffering in silence, what I don't mind is like, this is like period when we actually have to learn stuff. And what we need to learn is like that our life, if we wait, that our life depends on the others. I mean, we are just putting that life on hold for no reason. So I'm going to tell you, I had a phase in my life about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was actively dancing salsa. And so basically how that worked, it was a combination between exercise and social event. And it's mostly done for people in transition, meaning like they just broke up with someone, so they're looking for meeting new people. And this is the old-fashioned way. You actually need to dance with someone. So you will go to school, you would start meeting some people in a school, and then from there you will have the social events, you will kind of dance with your co-students, and then you would feel stronger, you will go to clubs, and then basically you start going every night in a club, which is tough, coming home at midnight and working in the morning. But the point I wanted to make over here is that I was kind of one of those types. I'm a type A personality, even though you guys don't see it here often. Like when I put a foot down, I put a foot down. So one of my things was the girls were always sitting on the sides like a wallflowers and waiting for somebody to come and ask them to dance. I came there not to necessarily find a boyfriend. In fact, no, I didn't want to. I just wanted to kind of like be arm's length. But I wanted there to dance, and I wanted to learn as much as I could. And the only way I could do it is with exposure. And I also had to overcome this stupid women attitude. Oh, I have to wait, and otherwise I'm easy or whatnot. So I would go and start asking people, hey, do you want to dance with me? Do you want to dance with me? I'm like, oh, people were shocked. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. What do you mean? Like, what's stopping me? So next thing you know, I got a reputation, and that reputation was not sustainable because I really didn't pick anybody up and go and sleep with them. In fact, I actually never met anybody who I kind of like found attractive, to be honest with you. But of course, I found like many, many beautiful people in a different way. So next thing you know, after that people got over it, you know how they say the truth goes in phases. I think Schopenhauer said the truth is first ridiculed. So I was ridiculed, and then is like opposed and violently denied. And so it was like, oh, you shouldn't do that. And like people, it was like a woman who had a website, and she was even writing this, well, people should kind of like understand the rules of these things. And like, is this a big deal if they ask somebody to dance? Get over yourself. And then all of a sudden you start seeing other women doing that. And it was really funny because men finally, like when this whole crisis finished, would say, well, you know, I feel so much easier, I don't have to ask, and then I feel weird when I'm rejected, blah blah blah. So long story short, I'm seeing something like that over here. Do you really want to be a wallflower? Do you really want to wait on the sidelines and wait for somebody to impose their decisions on you? Or you're going to take the bull by its horns, even though it's hard. And it is going to be hard this week. It's going to be really hard this week because there are going to be some big decisions. Something that you're really, really hoping for is going to fall down flat on its face. And this is as blunt as it is, and I know that I can speak to you this way. You have to understand that somebody you put high hopes in, or those of you who really want to date, you are going to find that this kind of like really weird thing that is happening. Since this is also probably resonating with me as well, like yesterday I was walking my puppy and I bumped into someone with whom I was flirting years ago until I realized he's kind of like still living with his girlfriend. And so, no, no, thanks. I'm not interested. But we stayed friends on LinkedIn, and we live in the area. And then it came to the point that he was telling me about the issues, with her. And so I bumped into him yesterday, and he said, oh, you know, I'm going through emotional problems through breakup. And actually at this stage, for the first time, but since I know him, I probably know him a good 10 years, that I felt, okay, so now he is the one who should be like a normal person, even though he's suffering from this breakup, like he is not pretending. So this is like something that it might actually really kick in, because look at here, I see this patience and planning. I love this card, and there is like this light kicking through it. Like, so there is like some, you see this light that you feel you wanted to absorb, that kind of like it fell flat. It's almost like somebody promised you something, and then they 5 minutes before something happens, they just like withdraw, and you feel like a loser. But it's not on you guys, it is on them. You have to figure out what you can do within you to stop certain things, because the suffering in silence is a question, why are you suffering? If somebody else is making you suffering, then you're being simply foolish, I'm sorry to say, because you shouldn't blame yourself or feel that you're a victim, right? We live in this victim society, like you need to stop that. So this card that is really opening up is telling me that you're going to land on your feet, things will move forward. So this kind of like brunt of this that is going to happen is going to go away. So somewhere literally toward the end of the week, the 7th day, Friday, you're going to start feeling better, but it might be a really rocky road for you, Libra, this time around. Okay, so look at Andalab Salsa. Unfortunately, never learned that, but did learn the cha-cha, but that's very similar. And a few other dance moves, love dancing. You're a strong dancer, needed a strong partner to lead. I know it's hard to find, Andy, because, right, whenever you are, like, I mean, these guys look for this, like, super good dancers are looking for really, really good dancers. They really don't want to waste time with this, so you'll really have to catch up with lessons and taking lessons. And even in that, I never managed to really get more than a dance or two with the super duper top dancers, but it is okay. That's the problem, that you like me probably taking dancing as a sport where you really want to achieve it, but maybe you have to ground yourself and take it as fun, even though it's really hard to find it lots of fun when somebody's stepping on your feet or slobbering all over you. So, oh yes, Barb, support these videos. There it is, like Barbie. So what are we doing next? We are going into these two tricky signs, Scorpio, Sagittarians. Always like there's a big mush over here, and there's also what is this? Not octopus. Apuchus. You know, this is something in the middle, but I don't read Apuchus because it's really complicated with that Scorpio Sagittarius energy, but I still find these two signs being very, very connected. You know, Andy, maybe it's a time for a girl to lead. Like, I mean, I always said, like, I always hated in salsa, like this kind of like macho man and a little kind of like fragile girl. And I'm glad to see that change. And then I started later doing West Coast swing, and that's lots of fun, even more fun than salsa. So, and the crowd is like much more diverse. So you might want to look into that. So we are looking for Scorpio, Scorpio. Mental conflict, temptation, and positive movement forward. Boy, I like this. Like, and then they sail into the sunset. Okay, so it is sending me off some meditative quality thing. And this is my dad. Like, I mean, this is the how he behaves, like clumsy, and he was not violent, but he was clumsy, and I asked him not to do something, and of course he did it, and that was a big scratch that I have to deal with right now if you're asking. But mental conflict, you guys are kind of like looking into things. It's kind of really interesting to me how this really shows, because look at this almost like looks like it's growing from this side of his brain, right? And it's like literally what we say in the back of our mind that we are seeing. Maybe you were experiencing some kind of duality. Maybe you're feeling, well, maybe this is not how I should go about things, what I should do in life. You could have been asking yourself lots of existential questions. This card is also about compromise, but it's also about stalemate. So you can see that maybe you're dealing with someone who, interesting, like I said, Scorpio and Sagittarius. Where is my Temperance rising? She's usually sending me these vibes because the Destiny card belongs to Jupiter, which belongs to Sagittarius. So whether or not you guys are dealing with Saggies, it's interesting. But this also can talk about some kind of like stalemate, that you're dealing in a situation that has many different aspects. It could reveal some kind of jealousy, it could reveal some kind of addiction. I actually really like Devil card in this particular deck because look, if you can see it here, it's almost like, to me it looks like the you know, on the board on cruise ship where they have like these round windows, cute round windows. But like, look, he has this key to love, but he is kind of like holding this, the true love. Like, I mean, he's taking this away, and it's kind of like situation where we have impression that we are doing the right thing, but actually we are not. Because how do you know it? Like, you're doing the right thing, or the vice versa, that you're not doing the right thing and you think you're doing the right thing. So how do you know? You do something and you get results that are not satisfactory, and you're kind of like left with this kind of like big wonder of like, what do I do about that? How do I go about that? This really tells me about something, a hope that you have about someone. It could be that you're dealing with somebody who has addiction issues, because the temptation, of course, covers that as well. Um, Maybe somebody is dealing with alcohol or drugs, they're working too hard, food. It could be a million one things. And as a result of that, they're not really being themselves. Um, they're not really portraying themselves in the way they should. So it's really hard to engage with people like that, because then you really don't get the proper energy. So it's all, everything in universe is vibration. So these people are not vibrating in a vibration of them. They're vibrating with much lower vibration, and you only thing that you can say and see right now is that lower vibration, unless you knew them from before. So hence, when you go in a lower vibration, temptations become easy. And we all have been there, right? Like, I mean, chocolate ice cream and blah blah, like, let's go in that direction. So it is really important to understand that you, if especially if you are like, I mean, dealing with somebody else, they might be dealing with some other issues that are really important in their life. So if you feel at any point, let's say they're neglecting you, or that you're neglecting them, maybe it's coming the other way, that you're being told that you're neglectful, This is happening because there are issues in this relationship, and these issues need to be addressed. Because you know what, I think the things actually can proceed over here. For those of you, if this is a general reading, you have to figure out what is the obstacle in the situation, because in order to move forward, you need to do that. You need to find a password, you need to find a key, and password is not what is self-evident. Somebody's saying, here is the password, and like give you like the paper with the big letters. That's not a password. This is the other door that they want to send you to. This is why this is two. You really need to think what you see and what you know. That is what is going to be the difference this month for you, my dear Scorpio. Okay, so let's go with Sagittarius. And there you go, special K. Oh, you have that combination as well, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Andy, I think you will really like West Coast Swing, because with West Coast Swing, you don't have to dance on salsa music. You're actually dancing on any modern music. It's a 4-beat. It's relatively easy to learn. It's same as salsa, very hard to learn it very well, but different than salsa because you don't have this will to learn it that much. It more feels like social activity than sport, and that's what makes it enjoyable. Also, you can apply everything you learn in salsa over there, and that's except moving your hips. You'll have to kind of like figure out how to stop that. Sagittarians, Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Saggies. And let me see if I can put something under so you can have a better view. How would this work? Would it work? Emotional withdrawal, fertility, and temptation. That looks a tiny little bit better. Again, temptation. Did I not tell you, like, I'm seeing these two guys connected? So how many freaking Scorpios are here dating Sagittarians? I keep getting this all the time. So look at this, the energy of 11. And something is asking you guys to look the good things. Like 11 energy is not going to allow you to get away with murder. 11 energy might say, okay, you know what, you managed to escape this, but I am putting extra homework as a kind of punishment for you. So this is really, really interesting because maybe you are being silent on something, on some issue. This is like where this happens, or you're simply not communicating your real feelings. You're not sharing your real self in the situation, and other people are noticing. Maybe you have somebody in your life who is a mother figure, or who is strongly prominent. To me, this card is also a perfect woman, aside from creativity, aside from this like Mother Earth kind of like a type. But look at that here. There is like some kind of like jealousy in the situation. Somebody is jealous, or somebody is trying to open this door, a key. There are addictions, but this could also be about cheating. This can be about a third party in the situation. Ooh, look at that. There are like some questions that need to be answered in the situation, because you have the spiritual union right underneath. And I really think that some of you, especially those of you who are in relationships, who are married, because we have 15 and 823, which is 5, which is Hierophant, are asking yourself if you are occupying position that you should have in this person's life. For example, maybe you're renegotiating, you know what they call it, the 7-year itch kind of a thing. And I really think in this particular case, you're reaching some kind of stalemate in a relationship where maybe somebody's withdrawing from you. Maybe you know, when people start polarizing, then issues become much bigger than they really are, because I'm seeing here there is a complete lack of communication. But I'm seeing here that you're putting somebody else on a pedestal over here, and or somebody's putting you on a pedestal, one of those things. However, in both cases over here, we are seeing that it's an issue of a heart, right? And it's an issue of that it has complexity. So it could be an issue with children in this particular week, and that could be some kind of like acting up, or you might be redefining the partnership that you have. If you're single, guys, and if this really doesn't apply to you, then I really believe this is really talking about you're trying to find shortcuts in a situation. You're trying to go in a direction that is really not the best for you. So you might end up like with some kind of like indulgence this week. You might end up kind of like acting out. So be very careful about that, because it's going to be very much layered week. You're kind of starting a little bit to yourself, and then going to the other extreme of that, like, that exuberant Sagittarian energy, and then saying, okay, oh, what the heck, no matter what I try, it doesn't work, so I can as well eat this like a pint of ice cream. Be careful about that. So it's easier if it's ice cream, like it's not so easy if you're dealing with a difficult personal relationships or some kind of connectivity where, threads need to kind of connect properly. So let me see, a strange but not legally separating caregiving for my elderly mother. Oh my gosh, special K. Yeah, that is clearly your energy being sent over here. So somebody, somebody needs to find, you need to find your center over here. So that's kind of like really interesting. So don't try to look for shortcuts, try to look for the real solutions, because when you have so much on your plate, and I know because I do, it's so easy to look for shortcuts. I just want to make it easy on me. I just want this day to go by. I don't want to go and grab my juicer because it's hard. But then again, what do? I do nonsense. I just like go on YouTube instead of doing something productive. So look for the real solution over here. So it was Libra. So let's go for the next round of questions. You guys ask yourself a question. I'm going to give you three doors. Good morning, creative girl. Slept late this morning. Kitties were upset. Food was late. You know what? My cats are trained never to beg for food, so they're waiting for me to wake up. And I'm just training Tiger to allow me a little bit more time to sleep, and he's getting better. Lucky 3 times. We finally are getting into last phase of potty training phase. So I mean, he didn't pee or poo at home for a while, but whenever I say, oh, he's okay, he's fully trained, then he poops. So I'm not going to say this time. So, or good morning, or it's already noon here, so it's very decadent. So door number 1, guys, ask yourself a yes or no question. I'm going to tell you honest answer over here. This is just for these people who are watching over here and who are listening. And a reward comes that way. So the number 1, you have daydreams and decisions. It looks to me that it's going to be only one option. So whether or not you're going to like this option, it's going to be up to you. But I cannot give you yes or no over here. It might be a very pragmatic solution over here to this problem. If you manage to find direction in that way, or approach this problem that way, so even if you're asking about another person, then you have to figure out what is the most practical solution to things and work in that direction. The number 2, giving and receiving. It almost like sounds to me that people who pick this door asking for somebody from the past, and this person could be for way back, not necessarily just from yesterday kind of a thing. It also could be a connection with wondering, like, I mean, how you are scoring in life, who can help who. It could be about support, it could be about getting a loan, it could be about being in a position to kind of like be a soft place to fall, just to listen to someone. The answer is yes over here, guys, and it's going to be really in a beautiful and a gentle way. Just make sure with this card that if you are the giver, that you are not giving uncontrollably, that you are like really moderating that giving, because sometimes no good deed goes punished, right? Remember that saying. you give them a little bit, you know what they say, teach them how to fish, don't give them the fish. So if somebody is asking you for financial or emotional support, give them way less than they're asking for, and just see what they do with that and how they act. In a case that, they don't repay you or they become mean, at least you can cut your losses on a much different level, and that's kind of like thing. But it looks like it will go forward. And the door number 3, whoa, joy and stability. This one is absolutely amazing. So this is this exuberance of things moving forward. So I really don't have anything to add. Yes, resounding yes. Okay. Oh yeah, if your cats are going outside, creative growth, then it's like a little bit tougher, because then they have like this earth schedule. My cats are only indoor cats, they're like prisoners, so they kind of like realize that when I open the moment when I open my eyes, I guess they probably hear my heart is getting faster, because they're like already there. So Safi would be on top of my chest like meow. Now she has this like, oh, I recorded her, she has this like measer sound. I don't even know if I have it. I don't know where it is, doesn't matter. 30 cats. Aw, it would be nice to fix them, that's so cute. Alright, so my dad's cat, I believe it's was a feral cat, and she never ever managed to become kind of like cultivated. Like my 2 cats are almost like elegant cats, and they even eat in a really specific way. It's kind of like really weird. Matrix is very protective of Safi, but Safi is definitely, she is royalty. Okay, that's good. So who are we at? Capricorn. Thanks, Barbie. Yay for Barbie. She's like doing such amazing job always. I just really appreciate your help. Barbie's like so well organized, so right on ball focused. Okay, Barbie is talking about Capricorn, and Capricorn. So, universe, yay! We had a Capricorn in the house, right? Somebody asked me a question. Oh my God, spiritual union? Like what is like today? And hope. Oh my goodness, Capricorn, in a while. Where is my Chris? Chris didn't show up today. Is Chris here? I don't know, like, I mean, maybe didn't look properly. There's double Cappy over here. This is amazing, guys. I'm going to break down these cards. You have 2 majors, both of them extremely positive. Universe card really talks about there is a shift in attitude. Maybe some of you have been dealing with people who you really didn't know. Maybe they were wishy-washy. Maybe at work you wanted to get a promotion and it kind of like didn't get there, or you wanted to kind of like drum up some business and instead you lost money, you invested a lot to kind of push it forward, but it didn't go anywhere. Do not give up. This is really saying that, one phase has finished, and this is one of my karma cards, and it's saying, yay, job well done. You have also released some karma, guys. So we release karma when we have major events in our life, or where is a major shift. So for example, you stood up for yourself where you felt that somebody was not right for you, and you said, you know what, I'm going to grind my teeth, and I know I'm going to be sad for a while, but this is not the best for me, and I do wish you the best, but I have to walk away at this stage, kind of a thing, right? And especially for marriage couples, that something is reaching a completely new stage, or people who really want to be in a relationship. This is like having relationships all over, but this is also talking about renewal of feeling of who you are. Maybe you have been in a down and out kind of a thing, and so as Lulu is commenting, release toxic people on karmic love. So we need to cut the contracts. Most people don't get it. Everybody's hoping to reunite with twin flame. Don't do it. Not a good idea. This is not an idea at all, because you don't have one twin flame. We are all this light. We are like all this universe. You see, we are like shows this face in this galaxy. We all are here. So we ultimately, when we die, we reunite with that energy. So what's the point of waiting for this twin flame? What is it? You cannot wait a second. It's kind of like you have to be special. So, and this is where people go wrong, and they wait for the special one, etc. The whole idea of this life is that we are like working on some issues, we are kind of encountering new things, and how we resolve them or not resolve them is the key to our success. And you know, we need to let go of certain people who come back from the past and cut those karmic ties. When we do that, this card shows up. And this card shows up because right now you guys freed some place in your heart, in your space, for either new love to manifest, or for you to feel different about things, or to improve on things that have been already going. Maybe you have had doubts. Maybe there were, you know, issues with fertility for some of you. Maybe there were issues with children. And now all of a sudden it's going to push forward. If you are also wondering, and maybe the biggest burden was the kids or the male child in particular, things are going to just go forward in such a fabulous way. You guys, this week, if you're single and you're looking, change your ad, because you cannot go back with this card anymore. If you go back, you're going to just spin for another circle, another cycle. Why would you want to do that? No, move forward in a completely different direction, and light and hope will be for you. Cappy, this is extremely enthusiastic, such a lovely reading. So let's do that. That's right. Like, think about it as a glass of water, and you leave it overnight, and the water, maybe you can drink it in the morning, but you really don't want it. If you leave it for a few days, it's already going to start kind of like creating this crust and mold, and you know, it's already kind of like something living in there, right? So you need to wash it, you need to clean it in order to kind of like empty this for something fresh and new, and that's kind of like what I see. Aquarians, triumphant success. Oh my gosh, I love this card. Aquarius, triumphant is good afternoon, Anita. How are you? Beautiful people, beautiful lady. Okay, Aquarius. We have memories of love. Aquarians being nostalgic. Oh my gosh, look at this reading. What is happening here? Happy Aquarians having a lots of big heart. Aquarians are shifting. This is a big shift. Because this is us, guys. We kind of like communicate in this like a matter-of-fact way, and it can drive people ballistic. The swords are kind of like what is the best for you, and sometimes what is best for us, we know, but it can be rendered in a much better way, where other people are maybe not as quick or able to feel going toward the goal in the same speed, because air signs are very fast, and because we are fast, we make sometimes drastic changes and drastic decisions, sometimes very confusing for the other people. So this is kind of like one of those cards. This is one of the fastest cards, this is the fastest card in the entire deck, and it is the entry into the minor arcana, which is kind of like almost like half into the major ones. And to me, this is one of these karma cards because of this quality, and that's clearly talking about victory and clarity, inspiration. Something is becoming very clear to us, something from the past. Maybe something from the past is getting reignited, and love begins. Like these two aces, we are clearing the past. We have also cleared some karma behind. Maybe you have been, guys, mulling it over in your head, how to deal with someone. Maybe you see, this card is really talking about old approaches to things. You know, we age, and you know what happens to us makes us to a new person we are, but sometimes we still can go back in the memory. You just need to close your eyes and you're again a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, and you experience things from a completely different perspective in that situation. And this is kind of like one of those moments when this card shows up. It's saying, okay, wait a minute, when I was like 15, this was so easy. Why wouldn't I be able to recapture this, right? So this can also talk about this nostalgia, right? Because that innocence, and sometimes what we hate the most about aging is losing that innocence, right? Because maturity, by definition, is kind of like really looking how to find a resolution to things that you're encompassing the other people and how they are going to get affected. But this is also about the joy. This is also about reunion. It could be a reunion with someone, guys, and it could be a new love affair with somebody who you already know. Now, this is always a caveat with that, because this is telling me it's a new karmic cycle starting. But with this, I'm also saying it could be a big commitment that is happening through. This is also saying it could be a completely new person who is going to give the stuff that hasn't been resolved. So it can be exciting, it can be romantic, because look at this, Aquarius is going from this abrupt approach to something gentle and something loving, and even the rainbow. And yesterday I took a photograph that actually did manage to capture, how you get a rainbow when you kind of like spray water up in the air. So I think it was enough water in the air, even though it was such a beautiful day. I'll try to find this here for you. How I was telling you how idyllic was yesterday? This is one of those shots. And I didn't manage to get here. I don't know, can you see it here? The rainbow? You see it here? I'm going to zoom that here. You can totally see it. This is not the lens. That's kind of like beautiful. Look at it. Isn't this amazing? I'm being captured. So that's what I was yesterday trying to get into my shamanic practice, and try to get this connection. And look at that. I'm getting this again. So if you met an Aquarius man, Lulu, this will mean Aquarius is right now looking into something new and new possibility. So things from the past. It's interestingly, lately I was getting lots of people from the past approaching me. So Pisces, Barbie saying, come on, Kat, enough talking, let's keep going. Look at you, 11:11. It's 12:11 over here, but then I'm going to look when it's 12:12 over here. Hi, Sally. Welcome back. Aquarian men are kind of tricky. They can be the best, they can be the worst. Just make sure he's single. That's all. Because Aquarians don't define being with someone in the same way that the other people. Just saying. But it looks like he's smitten by the cards over here. So, Pisces. Oh my gosh, prosperity begins. Authority, and trapped in fear. I have a Pisces friend from Cat Terra side. She's in Australia, and she's going currently through a very difficult time. So Kim, if you are listening, I can clearly see a solution for you over here. The issues are clearly here, but you shouldn't really worry too much, because it looks like things are in your head. So Pisces, very much like what I said to her, I'm seeing that you're possibly dealing with something kind of like that feels harsh. I see this card, the times have changed, so I also have to modify how I read cards, because this was this emperor thing. Look at him, I'm important. Like, you see how the empress, if you remember, she had this like big heart over here, but not this dude. This is almost like Julius Caesar, if you can see the little kind of like laurels around his head over here. So this dude more or less is about, look, I have to make a quick decision, and I'm trying to be really fair, and it's really, really important. This kind of like is very masculine energy, and this is the father energy. This is kind of like, okay, I'm going to provide things for you, but don't expect so many emotions, right? So that's the duality over there. Almost like it can have authoritarian tendencies, and it actually can be also a protector, but it can be ruthless if you disagree with this person. It must be my way. So it corresponds to Aries, because Aries sometimes has this kind of like way. Also, I don't know why people hate air signs, because oh my gosh, I have never seen anybody as blunt as Aries. Maybe that's because I'm dealing with my brothers so often, to be honest, over here. So you might be dealing with authorities. You guys might be dealing with legal process. You might be dealing with your father, or you might be dealing with an old school boyfriend or husband, something around the side. And maybe it's stagnating your process. Maybe where you really wanted to go, this prosperity begins, is not really not ending up this way. You have to understand the solution is not to play with their rules. 4 and 8 is 12. 4 and 8 is the hangman energy. A hangman energy. 12 is also energy of 3, which is the empress. So actually, butting heads, not gonna work. Not going to work. So you're opening yourself to this new situation. Something will grow, but something is also going to feel it is not growing. So people in this situation, it's almost like, let's say you're driving and driving and driving, and then you see the barrier on the road and saying, go and take the like a route, like, I mean, around this, like, I mean, it's derouted somewhere else. And you're feeling, oh my gosh, now I'm lost. Where in fact, maybe you end up shorter to where you're supposed to be. So the answer here is like to completely allow things to happen as it's happening. The answer here is just, okay, just chill and relax and see what happens and observe how the other people deal with this. If you approach this with a very gentle, very non-confrontational way, very much, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do, this is going to be easy week for you. If you engage and if you butt horns, it's going to be a very hard week for you. And you Pisces, people think you're very sweet. You generally are. I really love Pisces. But oh my God, if somebody steps on your tail or on your fin, oh my freaking God, you become piranhas. So just, do you want to be piranha or you want to be Nemo over here in the situation? So it is very important to kind of like go through that. So are we in a situation for the next question? Who is left? So I have Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay, so let's go with, you can ask another question. And our number one. Yeah, I think Kim can use some support, and I really hope she gets better. She's like such a lovely soul. She's actually Pisces, yeah, as you know. She got stuck with situation, but hopefully it's going to get better. No, it's okay, Barbie. I know that you're pushing, and I'm sorry to surprise you, but like you see, I'm just trying to be, look at this, we have 35 people. Now people will be coming because they can get their answers. And I don't know who was telling me, God, you used to do this. So I'm glad that you guys suggested this, but also I want to reward just for the people over here. So the number one, joy and stability. This card is also good when it reverses. So the answer is yes. It's not going to be so exuberant as it's shown in this card. It's more going to be, okay, wait a minute, you already knew that, so why are you asking this question? Kind of these things. Most likely the question was, is this going anywhere? Is this going forward? And the answer is yes, but it's not going to come as a big surprise to you. The number 2. Hi Chris, I was mentioning you today. Believe it or not, Capricorn had a really interesting reading. Go and check it out. I think you can zoom it over there. And good morning. Feeling alone. Like it looks like you need to have things happen on your terms over here, guys. And feeling alone, look at it. It's a very serene atmosphere. And you're like maybe saying, it would be so nice to kind of enjoy this with someone. It's a full moon. We are going through full moon. This is really telling you just to wait it out. Wait it out. You maybe need to go somewhere. You maybe need to be in a company of people. As far as the answer probably is no. The answer means that you really need to really figure out if you really need this company and if this person is really enriching your life, if you're asking about a person. If you're asking about, if it's a general question, then you have to completely act alone. If you ask other people, they might betray you, so be very careful about that. And door number 3, trust, but it's reversed. It's clearly warning you, telling you that this question what you are trying to do is not the best in your best interest, because this Fool's card kind of like, let's leap, let's just jump into unknown, let's start this new thing, why not to be spontaneous. Sometimes can end up with consequences, right? So this usually gives me this flavor of one night stands or meeting somebody, getting involved with somebody too quickly, too soon, and having too big of expectations too quickly, too soon, where people finally kind of find their ground and say, wait a minute, I just rushed and maybe I said certain things because I was like really high on oxytocin, right? But right now, well, I'm not high anymore and I really want to know the true answers. So this card is really talking about needing to re-examine what you really want, because the solution can be very foolish and it might not be the best solution for you. Alrighty, Barbie, you were telling me Aries. Going Aries next. Aries, 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 Aries for this week. Aries. Ooh, you have one card, Solitude. That's a new one for like really energized Aries. I want to see why is this, but this is a really good card too. Oh, actually two cards. This one jumped out. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. You have Solitude, you have Universe, you have Light, and let's see if this is going to mess it up. Nope. 8, positive movement forward. I don't know where to start, guys. Maybe you have been spending some time on your own, trying to figure out things, trying to see how to move forward. The Solitude card is really lovely. It's about learning about things. It is the ultimate about kind of like reaching your own decision, and it's Earth card, but it's also, it's represented with Virgo, it's represented with Aquarius. The Hermit card or Solitude card over here, it's really saying that sometimes you just cannot depend on the other people kind of like leading you down the garden path, because you Aries are no sheep, that's for sure. And this card is saying, you know what, I'm going to make decision myself, but you know, I know I'm going to be responsible for it. At least I know that I kind of like did my own path. So I did see this card many times in my life, because for most of my life until recently I had a boss, and frankly corporate life was never a good match for me. I don't think it's a good match for anybody unless you're like a proverbial psychopath. But you know, as I was a head of marketing, I would always have to come up with this new creative ideas and show it and tell them, well, this is why this would work because of these demographics. And I would always have somebody who either has no education or no idea that there is like, I mean, basically science behind that, and sort of like some kind of like logic to this craziness that maybe sometimes you're projecting. But I would always end up with, oh no, like I just want to be like these people. Look at the magazine, like I mean, this bank is advertising this way. Well, what's your point? They're a much bigger bank than we are. We need to kind of like go through and be noticed. If we just look at this blah ad, so what, people will then just go because of the value, but maybe value is not going to be enough if this other bank has a bigger reputation. And it's just like freaking, you cannot explain this to people, even though they're educated and everything. It's just like, no, they don't want to take this chance, but they make you responsible for the stuff they saddle you with. So this is that big decision time where you have to say, do I really want to be saddled with your decisions? Because I don't want to. And this is like a big decision you're making. It could be a big shift, because both of these cards are sort of like the ending of something. It could be you guys getting a new job. It could be you guys just simply releasing things that you need to release and saying, no more, I'm not going to deal with this, and F you, and F you, and F you, and don't you call me. And that's how Aries talks, right? I mean, you should know my brother. And what is the problem? Like, my mother is right now coming up with a whole bunch of stuff from her childhood, and she's like 79. She's going to be 79. She's a Scorpio in November. And my brother said, what is this? That was like 70 years ago. Why are you talking about it? It's like, he just doesn't get that kind of like stuff. So you're releasing something, or somebody's releasing you over here, and Tiger might actually shift the tripod because he decided somehow that he's a cat. He wants to be under the table. But your decisions, guys, and what you're doing is actually going to pay up because you're moving into this energy. So I don't know if you guys are connected with Leo. My brother is married to Leo. And this is really interesting because this could be earth sign, clearly it is showing through, and these are like fire signs that are coming through. But this is the light. This is this new opening. It's going in a new direction. It's a very lovey-dovey. And it's almost like, looks to me, it is a self-respect that is paying off. And you are feeling double satisfied about it. So this is really totally, totally cool. All right. And Taurus. Taurus. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. Guys, please press on like or share. It's highly appreciated. Look at this, 33 watching. We have master 33 number. This is the universal love. It's a teacher. Taurus, 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 and Taurus, Taurus, and Taurus. And Taurus. As soon as I get a little bit more knowledge about my shaman stuff, guys, that I'm doing, I'll be doing sessions over here and possibly on Facebook, the healing sessions, because I need my practice and you can use it, so it kind of like works for both of us, right? For both parties. So, trapped in fear, awareness, and truth. Wow, it's going to be edgy week. Maybe right now you're like still feeling and kind of like figuring out where is your place and what's happening and what's going on. This is not very common for Taurus to kind of like exhibit this card, trap in fear, because generally Taurus has this like slow moving energy until you piss them off, and then they'll move very, very fast. And I think this is why this card awareness is showing up, because here is like this, the end of one phase that seems to be happening. Look at this, is a 9 and this is 21. So as you can see, or it's 29, which is now 11 energy. So most of these signs this week are having that energy of 11, which is really lovely start for the summer, or I guess winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. It's actually almost better for the winter solstice because you're looking up, you're looking forward. It's a strange combination to have winter solstice and full moon. It's a very strange combination because with full moon, something is coming to fruition and you are supposed to leave certain things behind. And with winter solstice, you are supposed to look forward to something. So it's a double whammy. It's almost like damn if you do, damn if you don't kind of a thing. But Taurus kind of like has very similar kind of like attitude over here. I don't know what to do. I don't know in which direction to go. For example, I stole my dad's car keys because I don't want him to drive a car. And now he came up with the idea that he's going to change the lock himself, and he basically damaged the car. So every idea that I think it's helping, it's causing just damage. I just really have to figure out how to deal with its stubbornness. You know, this like trapped in fear is this ultimate card where we are not moving in a direction that is in our best interest for one reason or the other. Sometimes it just like feels like I would not succeed anyway, so what's the point, kind of a thing, right? But this can also be kind of like isolation, and it can be just a disappointment. It could be a little bit of apathy, depression that I'm kind of like seeing over here. But then we are getting this magician, but look, he's getting downloads from the above. So it's kind of like this universal messages. Some people get it in sleep, and some people just simply know this is the direction I need to follow. This is a Gemini energy, so this is going to be like, because Gemini is the sign after yours, like almost like a carrot on the stick. It's a very Mercurian energy, and I think we are in the shadow, which I'm already experiencing, and it's connecting this kind of like physical, which you guys are very physical being an earth sign, to the spiritual above, right? Because this card represents as above, so below. And we are talking here about the master of all four elements. If there is a person you want to meet in a forest or in a desert, this is the person you want to meet. It's kind of like, you know, like genie, proverbial genie. That's the fellow over here, right? So he is telling you, you know, that he can make anything that you want into reality. And so kind of like, you know, they call it about 9 cups, like wish card. No, this is the really wish card, because here it comes to creativity and skill and focus and desire. They're all kind of like these different forces that somebody's going to put inside of you, and you'll be able to have them in order to accomplish your goal, right? So you need to kind of like just simply say what you want, and you'll be kind of guided toward that. And then on to boot, you're getting this truth card, which it's the universal scale, and she's looking through this window and just seeing this all stars. It's absolutely lovely. So this card shows when we need to kind of like look inside of ourselves. Taurus is many things, very progressive, really good, loves to have their own home. They hate living in apartments. They definitely have to be around greenery and touch earth. Very earth sign, more so than Virgo and Capricorn. But one of the things that Taurus is not is being introspective. Taurus kind of like is, I want what they want, and it being a fixed sign can come across very selfish. However, this might change this week, because this card is talking about self-evaluation. So this is about being at a crux of something. I mean, Taurus, you need to purge things that are kind of like not allowing you to move forward. So maybe the Magician is, you have this goal and you know you can accomplish it, you know you're on the right path. But if you want to do them in the old way, and certain things that they didn't work before, why to kind of like go back in time? So this is going to talk about some kind of like renewal, and this is absolution, and it's about freedom of some kind. This can be death as well in this kind of combination, because this is almost like coming through and kind of like sliding down really, really quickly, which I really hope it doesn't, because 9 and like when it was just really weird when, you remember David Bowie? He died, what, a couple of years ago, somewhere around his birthday. He knew his death is coming, because I think he went to a tarot reader or psychic, and they told him even exact day. What they saw was this combination of 9 and 21. And that's why I'm saying that it could be something that is really has to be put it down. So it could be a pet, it could be something, but I really don't think it's going to be anything that is going to affect you emotionally, to be honest. It's either going to be you guys, which I really hope it's not. I'm not seeing the death card in addition to it, but I'm almost like seeing the shape shifting, that maybe all of a sudden you're going to have a different attitude and different approach, and it's going to be more emotional and more understanding how the other things around are affecting you. And then last is Gemini. Andy, I hope someone does a generous act for me when I shouldn't be driving anymore. Oh, well, it's what he doesn't find it as generous. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know where it is, right? And then when he wanted to get the this new cylinder, new key, I called Hyundai, because he has a Hyundai Elantra. And I spoke to the guy before I called him in front of Jack, and I said to him, listen, my dad shouldn't be driving, and he's trying to do, can you please tell him it's obnoxiously expensive? And I call, and he said, well, I don't know if I can do that, I cannot lie. I said, but I will going to ask you by the name and going to say, hey, you're asking that. So I did this whole spiel. So he told him that this key cost $2,000, where it costs like, I don't know, way less, $100, right? So, like, I mean, like, he was going, oh, no, I don't want that. And that's why he wrecked the car. So I thought I was doing a good thing, and then there you go. He's just banging the car, opening doors, everything is, like, pulled apart. And, of course, the car is beeping, because he doesn't know how to release that thing. So lovely, huh? So, Gemini. Intuition. Gemini, you are in observation mode. You're trying to figure out what you need to do. You have also emotional loss. You have destiny, second major arcana. You have three major arcanas. You have choose wisely, and you have patience. This is Sagittarian, so it's the same axis. So I clearly see one pattern over here, and this is like that. You will be more or less in a sit and wait mode. You will be trying to figure out how to approach certain things this week. Some of you might be experiencing instability, emotional instability. Some of you are really like you're feeling that you're missing somebody. It's really getting to you. But given that you're Gemini, you have these two faces. It almost looks like that energy can be very erratic, and you might go from bawling your eyes out to look like a really exuberant happiness with this destiny, the karma card showing up over here, right? There is also issue of some kind of commitment. You're asking yourself who you are, where you want to go, what you want to do, and I really think you need to focus that somewhere midweek this karma is going to step in. It's not much that I can say other than you really need to be patient. Like, it looks like you want to be everything to everybody, and you are kind of like pulled in all kinds of directions over here. The whole idea here is like it's okay to be dreaming, and it's okay to work on your dreams, but they will take time to revolve. Because this really tells me that in the beginning and this weekend there is like this emotional draw and emotional pull, right? The intuition is a really interesting card. It's also connecting to moon, and it's the card that represents wisdom, and it's also enlightenment. So it's somebody who is in between the two worlds. Maybe you're going to feel like, oh my god, I don't belong anywhere. This is the guardian of the unconscious. It's kind of like looking inward that she's going to call for, but when you start looking inward, you're going to probably realize how many wounds you still have. It's a good thing to release that. It is really a good thing, because that release was everywhere in all signs, right? And you need to clean the glass in order to make it full again, and that's what it's asking for. And sometimes it does. We suppress things, and you're going to be releasing something that has been down there, that has been bothering you. Because if you notice, he has this like Fibonacci around him, which is basically a generation of basically symbolizing life. And you really need to understand, you might actually have issues with children this particular week. You might feel that children are not giving you the love or respect that you deserve. It kind of like you might feel like a loser, you might feel like a failure, but then all of a sudden you'll go, oh, well, I don't want to feel like this way. You have this ability as an air sign to do that and shift yourself in a completely different direction. But that's why karma steps in here, a karma card, and saying, I'm not letting you down just like a rabbit hole anymore. That's it. You've been there, you've done that. Didn't you not learn anything from High Priestess, from intuition? You really need to kind of like pull yourself up, right? Because something that you have been working on for quite a while is finally happening. So it's saying choose wisely. Now when you're there on the top, don't gamble it, right? But also have patience to go through everything and to kind of like get what you want. So I'm going to do one more question, kind of like answers, and this is going to be for everybody, including the people who are watching this later, because some of you genuinely cannot attend, having a family obligations or living in a different time zone. So this is what's going to be. Oh, silly Jane, no crying. A good cry is good. I really think good cry really releases, especially for women, it releases all this stuff that is being stuck. So give yourself time for that, especially with, raining weather. Why the heck, why not? So, guys, Barbie, thank you. I'm going to just for everybody, so they get one reading, but also for everybody here as well. Let's see. We're going to have 3 doors. And I'm not picking up anything that you see because I really want to make it unknown. So let's do this. We get another one. Another one. You're welcome, guys. You're so wonderful. So this one really wanted to come out as the door number 1. And door number 2. And door number 3. So, if your question wanted the answer in the door number 1, let's check it out. And you have believe and succeed. So success is not guaranteed. Yes is not guaranteed over here. And I absolutely love this card because it is a ship. But it is a ship that sees this upward motion, but you still have to get there, as you can see over here. The light is over there. You need to kind of like go toward it. You need to work it. So if the question you want is like, there are like still elements that you need to do to get there, but do not take your eye from the ball. Just keep going in the direction it's clearly saying. Door number 2, guys. New vitality. Oh my gosh, I love this. And look at all these rainbow colors. This is all chakras, all energy, right? The base chakra, which is like, you see, this is the shortest because it's the minimal involvement with life. It's just like the basics we need to cover, even though for most mankind paying the bills seems to be the hardest thing in the world. But then look at how much more you have to do, and how much deeper you need to resonate in order to produce the other energies. So spirituality, it's kind of interesting that this is the combination from the beginning of the time, when we kind of like experience this universal energy and gods, and we realize like, no, like there's like something more to that. It comes from, okay, you need to kind of like have the warmth and the fire and the little hut and food, but also you need to believe into something, right? And everything else is actually trying to fall in place throughout our life. So you guys are engaging. This also could talk about renewing a relationship with somebody who you have been in the past. You might be also trying to reignite certain feeling, or kind of like capture something that you had somewhere in the past. This is success overall with everything you're doing, and especially more so if what you're doing is something that it was on a back burner for a while and that is getting reignited. So it's a good time, it's a good place. And door number 3, share the love. The card is about friendship. The card is about the card. And I don't know if you can see it. Then look it in the shadows. We are seeing this happy couple everywhere. So the heart is getting like amended. There's no more this disconnect. The light is shining. Oh my goodness, I love to give readings like that. How wonderful this is. This is simply going to be a matter of heart, and the question was about the heart matters and a communication with others. It's an emotional response. So being friendly and being open is the key, and the answer is yes. So there you go, guys. I didn't ask, I should have asked, but anyway, something would actually answer yes over here, because we have 3 yeses over here. So I love that. Well, thank you so much, Silly Jane. This is so nice to hear from you. And since you're here often, I'll put you in the moderator level. It's, guys, like, just because somebody's moderator, this is not bad or worse, and they just get a little bit more obligation to show up and to help me around. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. It was my pleasure. So yeah, this actually did go further in time than I wanted to, but I really like the combination of these cards, so I might use this more often. I missed you too, sweetie. So I'll play the music for the end. You guys go on with your day. It is like 12:43 p.m. in Toronto. My furry buddy is probably waiting for his next round, but I really want to at least do 2 or 3 Easter eggs coming back. And there's one reading for a client that I would like to squeeze in somewhere today as well. So that's what my Saturday is going to be, since I was like a slouch for the last 2 days. So, oh, Barb, this is so amazing. Yay, Barb. Good. And I'm going to be, you're going to hate me. I'm just going to copy your icons and you see, the people who are not smart, but they know how to copy. Oh, it didn't let me. Oh, Safi. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Abby. Where did she go? Where did she go? I think Tiger intercepted her. I guess everybody heard a little meow. So there you go. We did get like some kind of like distant visitor from somewhere. Oh, there you are. You wanna come on the table? Wanna come on the table? Really? You wanna come and say hi, hi, hi? Yeah, yeah, yes. You are sleeping through my work. Don't you want to just show up and say hi to everybody, huh? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you? Don't you, Sophie? See, Sophie, Sophie. So there she is. There she is. She's not getting intimidated with Tiger. So here we are. Guys, until the next time, you know that I love you. Let's get some goodbye music so we can say goodbye to each other. And then until next time, next Saturday, hopefully everything will be fine. Let me know how the week goes, if you can come by during the week, and just give me a note or two about the reading. Love you, love you. I love the selenite. It's cleaning the energy as I read. Love you guys. Bye guys, get off your ass and let's enjoy the day. Love you. Until the next time, all the best.